Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing? This is for the astrology for December the 27th of 2023. Almost at the end of the year. Don't have much more to go. If you would, give the videos a thumbs up, share the link, and comment below. It helps me a lot with the algorithm, growing the channel. And you can support me a lot in that way. And I appreciate you being here and having an interest in this and wanting to learn as well. And really wanting to kind of change your life here for the better, because that's what it's all about. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, I'll remind you, I kind of like to start the video with the last aspects that have happened on the previous video. Okay, so that's for the newcomers that are here and all. All right, the last thing we had that happened yesterday on the 26th was we were dealing with the trapezoid, and that was taking place at let's see, at 8:45, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So any times that I give you, remember, is Eastern Standard Time. So you'll have to adjust accordingly for your area and where you're at, okay? So let's go ahead and go into, we're going to start the 27th. So what you're dealing with right now will go on into the evening, and the aspects won't really, there will be a change, but it deals with when the planet moves next. What is really, and I deal mostly with the major aspects, not the minor aspects. Okay, like I don't deal with semi-sextiles and sequadrants and those sort of things. I kind of stay focused with, especially doing general readings, focused with the major aspects that are happening. So let's go ahead and switch over where it would be at 2:42 a.m. in the morning. The date has changed, but still the day is in a 24-hour period. The day is being ruled by Mars. Oh, I forgot to give the other ones. Oh well, can't go back and do that. But the day is being ruled by right now, the rest of the day is being ruled until the sun comes up, because remember, the day lasts from sunrise to the next day of sunrise, and that's when we moved into the next 24 hours. So right now it's still being ruled by Mars in the overnight hours until the sun comes up, and the night is being ruled by Saturn. Limitations, restrictions, confinement as well. Kind of stuck in something here. But the aspects change in a major way at 2:42 a.m. And the hour is Mars. I mean, not Mars. Saturn. It's the 20th hour of the day. All right. So let's look at this and see what we have going on. The first thing you can see here is we have the sail. Remember in the last video, yesterday's video, this was missing. Or the kite. This is often referred to as the kite. Think of it as a kite. Here's the tail end of the kite. It needs that balance. So what it's pointing to is the moon. And something here with this intense energy with the moon and being in its house, in the house of rulership, and Mercury, I'm just looking at something, being in its detriment and its retrograde. There's an opposition here, too. I just caught that on the thing up here on my coordinates into my declinations. It's 20 degrees, minus 20 degrees. Mars is out of bounds. Pluto's out of bounds, just starting to kind of go out of bounds. Vista is at 20 degrees. So let's kind of go over the strengths of the planets on this day. Mercury is at a minus 10 because of its retrograde and being in declination or being in detriment is what I meant to say. And it's because it's opposite the sign of rulership. It's weak, it's negative, it's repressed, maybe repressing thoughts, maybe repressing communication, because it feels like, anything may be possible to be said or something here of negative communications. I personally don't want to be around people that talk negative. I just would rather not be around those sort of things. So it's not really maybe if you don't have it's almost like that thing. If you don't have anything nice or positive to say, then don't say nothing at all, right? So it can be kind of weak and negative when it's in its detriment because it's opposite. And what's there is Vista. Maybe a weak plan, maybe a weak goal, or something here you feel like you're repressing maybe what you aspire here as well, or that internal flame, spiritual flame within you. Not really sure if you can accomplish it, but there's something with the opposition of the moon and the sun. Remember, we're just coming out of the full moon, but it still has that strength. The moon does. So it's all dealing with in this area of the moon. And so there is this focus there, dealing with life. How do you feel? Do you feel good in life? Do you, positive here? You're thinking positive. Do you feel positive? But it's a real intense energy because it's out of bounds, even in its home spot, in its rulership. And it's where you want to go for the future. It's where you are right now in this life and what you're feeling. Again, it's going to the sun. There's an opposition with the sun. So this would be the apex, which is the importance of something being illuminated or frustrated in some way. With the sun here. Oops. Let me see. With the sun here, there may be some frustration or something being illuminated. You're very maybe aware and conscious of what you're feeling, or maybe wondering, why do I, it's the full moon. Everybody knows when the moon is full, it's and especially in its own home, house or sign, it can be very, very intense energy. And then in this kite, we have the trine here from Saturn over to the ascending. And this is what's coming up at this time. It's Scorpio. And so this is where you may try to be dealing with something here. Be maybe very creative, or there could be a vision of something here that's coming up, which will be affected by Venus as the ascending gets closer to it. Right now it has a lot to do with Mars, and maybe limit or restricted or something in your actions, because Saturn is that of working within, or you learn to operate within those limitations of society. Responsibility, rules. There can be fears, obstructions. That's where the squares come in. And we do have a couple of T-squares here. It could be with a father, a teacher, something here, or even with it being in the 12th house, could be karma. And right now, with this going to be going close to Venus, something you're going to be quite aware of something that of desire here, in love, or Venus is that a capacity to love, and it's about your values, which right now there's an opposition with Jupiter, and it's in Taurus, and it's retrograde. It will be going direct. We're going to feel that energy where right now with Jupiter having an energy of a 4, it's coming to this point. It's going to go stationary and regain that energy of expansion. We've been feeling like kind of in this comfort zone of things really not settling, with things not growing or something here in our values, or whatever's going on, or income as well, because this deals with money, or our needs, what we need or what we have, and how do we obtain what we need. Do we have a goal set to obtain something here, what we're moving toward? Something's really being highlighted here about some sort of limitation. The next thing we have is another cell here, or a kite, but it's now pointed at Jupiter. What's at the tail is what's coming up. And here is what we desire in some way. And it's in opposition with Jupiter. Things aren't quite getting back in the swing of things. Things aren't expanding, growing here. There's, still dealing with what we feel, limitations. It's, emotions. We're dealing with 3 water signs here that are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. How do we adapt to something here? I mean, these are the 3 points that this is facing. Let's get rid of this. We'll get rid of this. So if we bring more awareness into what we're dealing with here, this cardinal, the moon, and the ascending, what we desire, and what we're limited, how we're limited or restricted, these are the 3 points. We want expansion. We want to nurture the growth, and the directions of what's pointed to that apex that we're dealing with. We want to grow. We want to expand. We want to get moving. We don't want things kind of sitting sort of idle here. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this. It's me. It's just me. Find it a better way. Okay, get a little bit more out. There we go. Okay, and that's where we're moving toward. But there's an opposition because it's retrograde. It's where it's pointed up. So we do have a trine here, as you can see. These are the trines here. We see the cross. And we have to activate our minds. How do we overcome some limitation or restriction of what we feel that's so intense to what we desire? This is what we feel, this is what we believe, but this is what we desire. This is at the root of everything, the tail of the kite or the sail, where it's kind of in the boat, more or less, but you want to go this direction. Would you feel like life or something here? You know, even though the emotions are expanding, some way you have to activate a plan or a goal, or where do you aspire to head toward? That's the big thing with sails and kites. You see the kite up there in the air, and you're letting it go up and up and up, and it's headed up, but it's going in kind of different. When you see a kite, it's going back and forth. A sail is kind of anchored at a point in the sky of where you want to go, and this just happens to be pointed toward Jupiter, whereas the other one is pointed toward what's being highlighted here, having the courage to go to that direction, feeling it, because this again is still the cardinal sign and another cardinal sign with a fixed and a mutable. You have a fixed star or a fixed something. You're like selling into the sunlight. You're selling into illumination, inspiration. It's a direction you want to go. It's where you're headed. This could be career and home, balancing the two. There could be something with the home life, but an opposition to where something's being illuminated, where resources that you can use to help you in the home, money, career, in your life, what you desire maybe a raise, or you desire a better working condition or something here, or even aspire to have a good job, a good income, something that's kind of like you've got this, but you would like to have maybe a little bit more. You're becoming very consciously aware that, or somewhat frustrated in maybe your career, but feeling more secure in your home life. But there's limits there. So, and again, like I said, it flips that you want expansion here. You want growth. We have the mystical triangle here as well, and I spoke about this. This is dealing with an opposition here. Sun to the moon. This is dealing with an opposition from Jupiter, where you're trying to go. Again, the mystic rectangle, you're activating, your mind's being activated here. You're thinking, or you need to activate the mind of how you're going to get from point A to point B, how you're going to obtain something here. Again, with the moon to Jupiter, how does it make you feel? But there's these oppositions, X kind of marks the spot. It's here about you're standing here, like the Earth's right here in the center of all this, and you're in this place, and it's like, well, there's oppositions for you to be able to move in that direction, sell in that direction. There's something here. Again, I will say that the mystical rectangles is also known as Lucifer's rectangle. There's something of the X marks the spot that is blocking what it is. It's opposing energies, but you got to have awareness of this, and really look at something in an objective way of this opposition. What is it that's really, and consciously facing something in relationship, you in relation to this, with it being, having the all know of the awareness and bringing it into the light, what is frustrating you, or that you're so frustrated you can't see something here that you need to see. Because then you're looking at the T-squares that's coming up next. at this time. I mean, this could be somebody on the other side of the world. Those are on, where the sun is. As the sun comes up, it's there, and it's and something is troubling you. There's blockages here, with a plan, a goal. This is dealing a lot with Mercury, because it's retrograde. You're needing to rethink, reevaluate. Anytime you go over maybe some communication, or even rethinking, what are you dedicated to? Because it is in Jupiter's house, and Jupiter is that thing of expansion and growth, expanding the thoughts, expanding the mind, awakening to something here, especially when it comes to with Mars, where you're driven, where you want to go toward the action you want to take. How aggressive are you going toward that? And it also does, again, in that plan, that goal, what you aspire for here. It's a lot dealing with Neptune over here. Your spiritual vision. There's an opposition for what you think, or you have to rethink some goal, some plan, or with some inspiration, what you're aspiring to, or what you're trying to really create here. There's squares to it. What are your challenges? Your challenges are these T-squares. And then we also have with Mars, what action are you going to take to overcome something here? What's in your way that's keeping you from, or blocking you from, accomplishing something here? Sometimes it's our own faith in something. Not having the faith in something, it's usually we're our own blockages in our healing, or whatever it may be, or creating something, or, believing in, where people, or even, people say, well, you can't do that, you can't do this. Well, or you don't have the money for it, or whatever this may be. What's it going to cost to do this or do that? Do I have the money to do it? Do I have the resources to do it? There's something that could really be standing in the way here, and you're going to have to overcome it. How do I get from here to there? We have a grand trine here, so it has to do with all the emotions. You're really emotionally, is your emotions is leading this. There's some kind of restrictions that are blocking something here. Could be something relationship. I mean, I don't see anything yet. Well, I'm really not seeing anything that has to deal with the nodes. So I think it's more of what I'm gathering here is more of the individual, our own individuality, of confidence or awareness of something here. The next thing we have is the Yod here, that has to do with Venus, to Pluto. This is where you have to activate the mind, for it to work. You've got to reevaluate something here. Your capacity to love. Or who you love. What is it you love? What is it in your values? The sign shows the attitude and needs in love. So, and this is what you desire. I mean, it's like, is there some sort of jealousy going on here, or, with Venus being, and her energy is not very up there. I mean, she's at a -4. Um, you kind of have to open your mind up to love. And the house shows where you value most, attract your, um, shows what you value most and attract to yourself. A refinement. Money's gains or loss. And I would say there could be some money lost right now. Maybe you've been spending money on somebody that maybe, I hate to say it, but kind of like you could be dealing with somebody that's just out for the money or what they desire. They can't get what they desire, or you're not getting what you desire. There's probably a lack of communication here as well. It could be with somebody here that the God's pointing out something here, that whatever you're dealing with here, you don't share the same goals. You don't share the same aspirations with somebody here, maybe in love. Maybe you're meeting people that just you don't share the same values with. You don't have maybe some common interest here. It's just not, or you don't see it in someone. Because Venus is, she's not in for it. Mars is at a -5. The sun is at a -5. The moon is real intense. Mercury's at a -10. So I doubt there's much communication here. Other than to say, I would say if I'm looking at something here, you're trying to go towards something, but there's something here that's very, very toxic, I would say, almost too. And blockages here. Because to me, it just seems like whatever's going on, it's not fated and it's not destined, because there's no, if there's not much communication, then it could be like you just don't share the same values, or you don't aspire, you don't have the same aspirations. It would be like somebody wanting to get married, another person's like, no, I don't plan on ever getting married, or whatever. Or somebody wanting children, no, I don't want children. Or or you can't communicate on the same level. There's a struggle here. And God is like pointing it out. You don't have the same aspirations with somebody here, or aspire to something here. It's just that eternal spiritual flame is not matching. Then we have the trapezoid that's dealing with the sun and the moon in opposition. There's limitations. I mean, you're trying to get along, maybe. But maybe there's just not a good, the relationship may not be growing here. Either in the job or your life, or with even in your studies or something here. You're just kind of going in the flow of it, but yet it's not. You're becoming aware that either you're not learning something here, or it's just not for you. It's kind of like that sort of thing where, well, it'll do for now, sort of, but it's not going to be permanent. We have another one where there's a focus here with this limitation, the foundation. Uh, Also, the foundation here that it's not expanding, it's not a growing. And you're becoming quite aware of that. But it's maybe not what you desire because there's an opposition. It just isn't going anywhere. Could be, like I said, studies, career. This would be something if, say, you got in a course and you're in college or whatever, or a school that you're going to, you may want to change it. You don't agree with the teachings. Your values don't mix with someone else's, whether it be in relationship to your work. You don't like the job. Or you're having a lot of difficulty. Sometimes we get into jobs and we just get comfortable. And so we get stuck or trapped into these jobs because who wants to rock the boat? You know what I'm saying? And this is kind of like the boat. But then there's the sail. Where are you going? Is it going anywhere? But it's almost like God, pointing something out that this ain't what you were inspired to do. This you're doing something here that's not your purpose. And this is like, this is where people get in trouble and they start sleeping. I mean, they're not resting. They're having trouble because of all this energy that's going on. I mean, I know I have my bouts where I just could not go to sleep. I couldn't stay asleep. It was a lot of issues there. Now we get, the sun is up, the day's being ruled by Mercury, okay? Mercury's at a -10 in its energy, and it's conjunct with Mars. So there could be some repressed, weak, feeling like you just don't want to think about it, or there could be these negative thoughts, or you're repressing the thoughts, you're repressing the communication. In some way. Let's see, where is he ascending at here? Let me erase all this out. Okay. The ascending is here in Aquarius. It's something in society. And we're the sun in Capricorn is trying Mars retrograde. Now we know only 3 more days from this that it's going to go stationary, and something is coming very aware of it. It's the sun is pointing this out or illuminating. Have patience. This is a good time to have patience. About your interpersonal purpose, that drive and that energy. You may have to be reserving some energy. The sun is also about our free will, or our self-motivation, or our confidence and our strength. Don't have the strength or something here. After the holidays especially, we're just tired. It could be something about your individuality and creativity. It's not on the expansion. It's kind of like repressed. You just don't feel very creative. So you're kind of reserving something here. Even though there's a T-square here. And all this has to do with your goals, your aspiration, your plan. Did you accomplish something here you wanted to accomplish? Or was there too much interference in some way? Again, it goes back to Neptune, soul depositor, and all this. So it has to do with Mercury and Mars a lot. Mercury being retrograde, detriment, visions, dreams, and then we got the Yod again here going on. Where something here divinely is trying to get you to have the courage to make a decision about something here. Because you're just not really into something. You ever been in that thing where you, like I said, either the goals and the aspirations and the plan, or uh, and Venus, being that of you're not sharing the same values with someone else, but sometimes we just don't have the courage to step up and say, you're a nice person, but we just don't have the same values. We're not looking to go in the same direction. If you want the house and the home and the kids and the little white picket fence and all that kind of stuff, well, that's not what I want. And this could be, especially be with the fourth hour of the day, where Jupiter being in its retrograde. You just don't settle with just going along with something here, because it's not good for you and it's not good for another person. Be honest. Step up and have the courage to be honest about something and make the decision. Don't wait until there's, I'm seeing squares here and I'm seeing oppositions here, and quit fighting with it. Be honest with it that it's not for you. Don't wait till, you deal with it, or you just sit there in it until somebody keeps saying, well, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's this? What's that? Be honest. Just say it. Don't, because I feel like there's no communication here. It's not that hard to just say, look, we don't share the same values. I've got my plans, you've got your, whatever your plans are, what you, what goal you have or what aspiration you have, it's not the same I have. And it just, won't work. Especially if somebody's wanting a commitment and somebody else doesn't want to make a commitment here. And then people get drawn up into 6 months or a year in a relationship, to all of a sudden, or even 6 months, all of a sudden there begins to be, fights and arguments, and because nobody was ever honest to begin with. To say it. And then at 3:23 in the afternoon, we're still dealing with Mercury ruling the day, and it's the 10th hour, and we're dealing with Saturn here. Again, the T-squares and the Yod. Still. It's like, you gotta work through this, because if you stay in this and repress what you feel, and you don't express it, and you're not being honest about it, it's going to cause a lot of issues in the cycle, whatever it is. End it, but be it in an honest, truthful way. Don't be leading somebody on, that, or tell them if they're trying to put the work into it and they're putting all this effort and you're not, you don't want it, you got to say it. All right, let's see what we got next here. Then we go from 3 to 7 o'clock, 7:30. This round 7:30. And Mercury again being retrograde, repressing the thoughts, maybe not communicating. We got a double key Yod here. I don't know what people are struggling with, but I mean, we got this Mars and Mercury conjunct 24 degrees, and we went over that a little bit there. Still, these T squares going on were with Mercury and Mars. It's like it's still there. Well, how are you going to handle this? I mean, damn, do you got to go a whole day struggling with something here? And then, like I said, we got the double yods. Look at the X's. It's like with this Pluto, whatever you're trying to create, it's not going to be the same. I mean, look at it. We got the sun. There's limitations, restrictions. In some romantic attachment or some love affair, it's like, why would you put, somebody here's putting limits on something? The key of it here is somebody's restricting, whereas the other person, it feels like, I mean, it's that same thing. Now are you becoming aware of something that this is, if you're in a relationship, if it's restricting and limiting you, love's not to be restricted or limited. You can't sit there and say, I love you, but, I mean, really? Because something in the nighttime here is going to be illuminated. It's finally going to say, in that hour of Venus, that's saying, hey, I can't salvage it. We can't salvage this relationship. It's not going anywhere. You got to be honest here about it. Don't quit playing games, because it's the worst thing you can do with somebody. Having them think that, oh, yeah, it's good, you're okay, everything's fine, nothing's wrong with me, blah, 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 blah. It's a lie. It's a lie. Because the emotions are too intense. Again, I mean, we're looking at 4 minutes after 11. Somebody's not, there's issues here. And you've got to be honest about it. And say, look, we're not spiritually connecting here. It's not. I just don't, the flame's not there. The desire's not there. And the best thing you could do is leave and go find you someone else. I mean, I'm kind of really feeling that. Because really, I just don't see the communication being there, and I don't see the, whatever this is, if it's in a career or it's time to make that decision. That is not what you aspire for. If it's in a relationship, a job, a school, whatever, a teacher or something, you're just, it's not, and really it's the hand of God, the finger and the hand that God is letting you know, this is not for you. Whatever it is, it's just not for you. It's not the one. Because of the yod. I mean, he's really pointing it out. God tells us, he lets us know when something's not in us, and it's usually, we feel it in our heart. Because with the moon in a square to the past and something here with the future, it's not bringing in the healing. You can't look to someone else if you're in a broken relationship, a broken home, or something here in your homes. You can't put all that weight or that burden on someone else, thinking that I get involved with someone else and it's there's always a honeymoon period in a relationship, right? Even in a marriage, just like a marriage, there's a honeymoon. You go on a honeymoon, everything's good. when you first meet somebody, right? We try to put our best out there. But then all of a sudden, it's whatever it is just not there. As you get around somebody and you communicate a little more, or their actions, your actions, they just don't seem to quan. And God's like putting his hand on it and said, I'm ending this cycle. Somebody's going to drop, just say, this is it. Whether it be in a job, a career, or studies, or something here, this is not the direction that the divine is letting you know you need to go. So why stay in something that's not meant to be there anymore? And then we're looking at, within 4 minutes, 11:08. There you go. We got the mystical rectangles coming back in. Lucifer's rectangles. It's about the future and the past. And these T-squares in the yod, I mean, God is really putting his hand in something here to stop it. I mean, yeah, Raz, I mean, if I'm looking at something here and what I'm seeing is with this now, all of a sudden the past and and the future comes in, and it's like, it's like if you're trying to tell someone this ain't going to work out and they're still wanting to, oh, we can make it work, don't leave me, baby, and all this kind of stuff, I need you. It's an obsession. It's actually almost like the devil card, a toxic thing, till somebody kind of explodes and says, no, it's not for me. And then there's an argument. It's like that. I'm not going to be chained or bound to something that don't work. That is just not for me. And it's God's way of showing us that it's not going to work. It's not for your future. It's just kind of like I keep wanting to say, it's not in the cards. And he's pointing it out. I mean, there's that mystical rectangle, see? Don't stay in the flow of something here. It's the south node to the midheaven, sextile, north node, midheaven. It's like it's telling you something here. You better rethink this, because this is not what the plan is. That's not, God's going to really put that, show you something here by his own hand. That, in other words, it's toxic. Something here is very toxic. There's the opposition. You don't want to talk about it. Squares again, T-squares. And how you handle these squares shows what you're like on the inside, how you express it. Again, this is really dealing with the Mercury and Mars and your goals and your aspirations of what you're trying to create, and what is opposing here that's not really supposed to be for your purpose in life, what you're dealing with. And it's Mercury and Mars. And God's trying to really point something out here. This is not a good solid foundation. It's not going to last. So why keep just going along with the flow? It's like, okay, you ever heard of the thing of just going down the flow, going with the river, going with the emotions and everything? The emotions with the moon are so intense that it would be like going down the rapids. You know what I mean? It's like things would be smooth, and all of a sudden, bam, you hit this big rapid that just turns you and spins you around and around. And it's like, where did this come from? I mean, and then you barely survive it, because that's what the mystical rectangles are. You barely survive it, only to things kind of go smooth for a little while, and then bam, you hit another, turbulent thing. God's got a funny way of telling us that when we need to leave something, we need to move on from it. And that's what those cells were. It was like a forewarning that what you're moving toward is not really for you. It's not in the card. It's not in the fortune cookie. Okay? Not for your future. And it's making you aware of it. So this is what I got for you on the 27th. And it's really, and I really love this because this is on the 27th. And Vista's on 27 degrees here. So it's actually the hand of God really doing something, pointing out to you. This is not for your future. It's not in a spiritual foundation, a strong foundation. And if you're a woman involved with a man, then this is probably not the man for you. And God's trying to show you that. Too much. Too much. Okay? And something at this nighttime is really telling you that this isn't right, but be patient for what's to come. Right now you're dealing with something that's not solid. It won't last. And when you'd rather know it now than to find out later on. Okay? So I thank you for being here. Thank you for viewing the video. And I hope you're learning something. I really do. That's the whole purpose of this, is learning how to get through difficult times in life and knowing when something is not for you. And looking at the warning signs and being able to know those warning signs. That whatever you're moving toward, is it going to be good for you? Is it going to prosper you? Is it going to help you grow in life? Are you doing something here with others in relationships? Whether it be in your career or in your are you in a good healthy work environment? Are you in a good healthy school that's you're really going to learn from and inspires you in a way to activate your mind to think for yourself, and instead of just saying you need to do this, you need to, no. Mm-mm. When you're an adult, you need to think as an adult, as an individual. And you need to know where you aspire to be in life and what your goals are. And if that school or that job or that relationship is not giving you that inspiration to go that direction, then you need to cut it loose. It's too much. Then just people stay in things just to stay in things, and they'll make reasons and excuses up to do so. Oh, I can create this or I can create that or whatever. But no, darling, you can't. Because there's too much here that's stopping it. There's too much challenges in it. It's not for you. And that's when we need to be aware that it's not for us. So again, like I said, please give the video a thumbs up and support and share the link. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hello, great to have you. You can comment below. And as soon as I see it, I will get the notification that you've commented. And I'll get back to you just as soon as I see it. Okay? Y'all take care. And I know we're going toward the new year. So y'all stay safe. Plan for a safe New Year's. Make sure you have a designated driver. Make sure you've got all that worked out. Don't get yourself out there and get in some kind of trouble. Be aware of your surroundings when you're out as well. That's real important. being aware of your surroundings, knowing who you're with, and making sure everybody stays together as a group. Groups are a lot better off than people out there by themselves. Okay? So with that, I'm going to say good night, and I love you. And again, thank you for viewing the videos and coming to the channel. Please, thank you for subscribing.